Hello everyone, this is Jóhann from Flowcore. Last time we created a read model which connected to an external database. So in this case it was PlanetScale. Today we'll demonstrate how you get data from a data core into this database in PlanetScale. So to start, let's just try and connect to the database just so we have a starting point. So we'll just open any form of database connection that you have. In my case, I'm just using Table Plus, but it really doesn't matter what you use. And then we'll connect to PlanetScale. Now, as you can see, if you don't know how to get to this window, I'll just quickly show you. You hop over to your database of choice, like the one you created in PlanetScale, press Connect, create new password, and then pick whatever options you want. And there you go. Now you have the database. Just make sure that you pick General so that you can see the specific bits that we need. So I already have this one because that's what my read model used. Let's just hop over to Table Plus. We'll create a new connection. And then we'll say this is a MySQL because that's what PlanetScale uses. Create. And then we'll painstakingly go through this process of copying everything over. Let's say, not user, sorry, database name. And then we'll grab the username there and the host there. And then finally the password. Now, with PlanetScale, the password disappears, so that's something you have to be aware of once you're done with this. So you can't just get it back, so you have to store it somewhere. So let's just try and run it, just to make sure that we connect. Yeah, that seems to have connected correctly. So we'll just say yes, connect, and let it run. There you go. Now we're connected to the database. So the next step is to demonstrate how Flowcore can get the data from the data core over into this database. So let's just jump in and create a scenario. So we'll go up here and press that one. And then it asks you what organization you want to make the scenario for. For us, it is the organization we created in the previous video. And now it asks us which data core we want to use. And we only have the one that we created previously, so we'll pick that one. You can search for whatever you're interested in. Now, as you can see, this one, I can see this one because it is part of my organization as well as it's public. If you would like to see other public data cores that someone else has created, you can hop into organizations and let's see, let's just pick one that's public. That one doesn't have any. Let's see. Here we go. There's a public one right there. So what you can do is that you can pick the data core. And then there's a subscribe button up here. You just press that one. So then now the whole idea is that you subscribe to public data cores, that you can access them within your scenario. So let's select the data core and it should show up here, as you can see right there, subscribed. So now I could technically use the data from this data core if that's something you wanted to do. But for this experiment, we're going to pick the one that we created earlier. And then you see those tiny little purple bit sticking out. This is the node connection. So you pull it out to create a second node, which will prompt you to ask you to create an adapter. Now, the adapter is where most of the magic happens. This is where you can transform the data live as you load the data over into the database. So when you extract the data from the data core into your database, it goes through this additional step where it will allow you to transform in any way you need. So it'll give us an example name. We'll just stick with that one because this is more just for your needs, so you know exactly what this is. And then it asks us which event type we want to use. So as previous video, we created Santa's Workshop and Reindeer Garage. So we will go with Santa's Workshop because it has more data, and we'll press next. And now it asks you what language to use. Now, currently we only support 3, but we are working on getting even more support, even binaries, so you can have complete freedom of what you do. So for now, we'll pick TypeScript, purely because we won't really get into how you create your own transformations. We'll just let the data from the data core pass right through and into the read model. So it's one-to-one what the data core contains. So the structure of that data is identical to what pops up in the read model in the end. We'll get into the second video. We'll make sure to show you how you can set up your own transformations. So at that point, it'll get more relevant to what specific type of language you pick. But for now, we'll just leave everything as it is, and we'll just press complete. There we go. And then we pull out from this adapter into, as you can see now, we get to select the read model. Now there are 2 options that you can pick between here. One is that you can pipe the data right into a data core. So the idea here is that you take data from one data core, transform it through an adapter, and then push it into a separate data core. This is ideal for cases where the data that you initially put into the data core is wrong in some way, and you would like to rectify that issue. So you can literally take the data that's incorrect, pass it through a transformer to correct it, and push it into a different data core. So that when all the data has been corrected, then you are free to just delete the old data core and use the new one that you just pushed everything into. And you could even use this for versioning as well, where you would say the initial data gets transformed into one data core and then into a second data core, which is version 2, where the data looks a little bit different. And then you can just keep versioning like that. So it has various different properties or options that you can use it for. But for now, we're just going to pick the read model because we just want to push it right into a regular database. We'll get to this pipe to a data core in a different video. So here we go. We'll pick the read model. And now it gives you several different options. We'll get into what these are in a different video, the bottom ones. But up here, it allows you to pick which read model you want to use. We only have the one, so that's one we pick. And then what the table name is. So this is what literally the table that will be generated or created within the database once we're connected and data starts flowing over. And this is the table definition. So this is what the data will look like within the database. So these are like the columns. Now, you're free to change this however you want. So you could add more stuff to it. And we'll do that once we start creating our own transformations, because then it makes more sense, because this is just literally taken directly from the data core. So, it tries to help you a little bit, but you will most likely create your own little table definitions based on your own custom transformations. So for now, we'll just leave it as this, because we're just letting it pass right through. And in the next video, we'll make sure to create our own little table definition. And again, all of this is very much work in progress, so things could potentially change in the future. So just bear in mind, and when that happens, we'll make sure to make more videos covering those bits. So we'll just press complete, and here we go. Now, as you can see, you can order these things, these nodes around, and you have a little few controls down at the bottom here. One is for centering. One is just zoom and zoom in and zoom out. One is to lock so that you can't move the nodes. And then finally, my favorite one is pressing that one, which just aligns everything. So you don't have to worry about, does it look nice? All right, we'll be sure to just press save down here. Now, bear in mind that you can't deploy it at the moment. That's because you always have to save it before you get to deploy it. That's just an additional fail safe so you don't accidentally deploy something that hasn't been saved. So we force you to save it first. There we go. Now it's been saved, and you can go up here and maybe call it something better, like the best weather station scenario. Again, this name is purely for your own use case so that you know what it means. So we'll just save it again, and then we'll press deploy. Take a second. There you go. And now it's currently getting deployed. As you can see down here, it says that it has not been deployed, and now it's being created, or it has been created. So we'll just let this run until it has gotten to the ready state. Now, while we wait, we'll just make sure to hop over to the table. Like so we saw its database earlier. As you can see, it is still completely empty. So we'll just let it run for a while longer, and then we'll make sure to check back with it. And there we go. It has now created and deployed this adapter, where it should now have successfully connected to the database, created the table, as well as filled it with the data that was related to this data core, or specifically the event type of Santa's workshop. So if we hop over to the database to have a look, and there we go. There's a table right there. So just refresh to make sure that it's actually that one. Yeah, there we go. And here we are. This is all the data that came from the data core directly. So just to verify, we could hop over to the data cores and have a look at the data within. Here we go. And then we hop over here, and then you can see this is the same data. Now, bear in mind, this is preview, so it doesn't show you everything. But as you can see, it's 18.2, 18, and 19, right? So this was a very simple example of showing how the data can be transferred over. Now, we can extend this slightly further by saying, I want the other data as well. I want the reindeer one. So we'll just pop over here, pick the reindeer garage. Again, it shows you the preview of that. Pick TypeScript, it's complete, and connect it to the same database, now with a different table. We don't want to push it into the same table. There we go. I'll just clean it up real quick. There you go. And press save and deploy. And then we again just wait for this one to finish deploying. And there we go. There's the second adapter. Now let's hop over to the database again, have a look. And there it is, second independence, which was the name that we chose for the table name, as you can see right there. Let's hop back and see the data has popped in. There it is. The data has now been populated into this table, specifically the reindeer garage data. So that would be about it. Now again, say you decided, you know what, we don't need this data anymore. We could just go in and we could literally delete that one, press save, deploy, and now that data won't be pushed into that table anymore. Now essentially we've lost the connection to that table. Now we could always just re-add it back and can push it to the same table as before. That was just a demonstration of how you can literally just delete and create things on the fly. So yeah, that was about it for how you transform or how you take data from a data core, transform it. In this case, we just passed it right through and pushed it into a external source, in which case this was planet scale. In the next one, we'll demonstrate how you can specifically pass the data from this data core into the adapter, use our own code to transform this data in. We'll make 2 videos where we'll demonstrate TypeScript as well as Python, depending on what you're good at or what you're comfortable with. And then we'll use that transformation and push it into the planet scale database that we already have. For now, I'll say thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.